So the apocalypse is coming and the world is about to end, according to this influencer. Her name's Danielle. So Danielle's an astrology influencer. She's got about 100,000 followers and she believes herself to be clairvoyant. And one day, Danielle's reading the stars or whatever, and she sees something that freaks her out. There's a solar eclipse coming in the next few months, and she starts to believe that this is a sign of the coming apocalypse. So she gets on Twitter and she starts posting warnings to her 100,000 followers, saying the apocalypse is almost here, saying the solar eclipse is spiritual warfare. She also apparently casts magic spells via tweet, which I didn't even know magic worked that way, but okay. Now Danielle lives with her boyfriend, this guy, Jalen, and with her 2 daughters, who are 9 and 8 months old. And Danielle and Jalen have lived together for about 3 years, and things have always been pretty good. But as the solar eclipse gets closer and closer, their relationship seems to deteriorate. I'm guessing because she's all stressed out about the coming apocalypse. So, the night before the eclipse, Danielle is totally on edge. She sets out candles and black feathers and tarot cards, but none of that helps. Things are getting really tense for her. And at some point during the night, she and Jalen start fighting, and it gets bad, like really bad. And they start going at it and screaming at each other, and they get so loud, even the neighbors can hear them. And things just keep escalating to the point where it gets physical. And then at some point, Danielle grabs a knife and she stabs Jalen right in the chest. And it's brutal, and it unalives him. And to make it even worse, her daughter is right there, watching everything. Then Danielle drags Jalen out the front door and down the hallway of her apartment building, all the way to the elevator. And it's speculated that she's trying to get rid of the body. But as she's standing there waiting for the elevator to arrive, she starts having second thoughts. So she drags him back down the hallway and back into her apartment, and she leaves him in the kitchen. Then she takes her 2 daughters and she loads them in her car and she speeds away. And she's in such a hurry when she leaves, she actually left the front door open. And on her way out, she rams into the gate in her building. But she speeds away, and eventually she pulls onto the freeway. Now, while driving on the freeway, she suddenly does something inexplicable. She slows the car down, and she reaches over, and she opens the door. And she tells her daughters to get out. Now, her 9-year-old is in the front seat, holding the 8-month-old. And the 9-year-old refuses to get out. I mean, she's probably scared. So then Danielle does the worst thing anyone could possibly do. She forcibly pushes both of her daughters out of the moving car and onto the freeway. And once the kids have been pushed out, Danielle just floors it. And she keeps going, and she eventually reaches over 100 miles an hour. Then, for whatever reason, she steers the car off the road, and she slams headfirst into a tree. Meanwhile, police, they're getting calls from people telling them that they spotted a little girl on the side of the freeway. So they race there, and that is where they find the 9-year-old daughter. She's injured, but she somehow survived and made it to the side of the road without getting hit by oncoming traffic. But unfortunately, the 8-month-old doesn't make it. And around the same time, first responders, they find Danielle's car all wrapped around a tree. And of course, Danielle didn't make it either, and police have no idea that these 2 crimes are related. But then, a neighbor in Danielle's building is out in the hallway, and they see a bloody trail. That trail leads directly to Danielle's apartment, where Danielle had left the door open. And their neighbor can see inside, and they can see Jalen's legs. So they immediately call police, and police come, and they put 2 and 2 together, and they realize Danielle had unalived them all. That's a sad one. Shout out to mental health.